I've tied flies that have used either barbell eyes, like these, or bead chain eyes, like these, where we cut off two and then tie one on either side of the hook. They're basically like barbell eyes, but I've cut out a lot of the tying in of the eyes, and I thought I would actually take some time to tie in some eyes. Clouser will tie a bump, start the thread, and then just tie a bump. And Clouser uses that bump to push the eyes up against. And I was watching video the other day by Lefty Cray on tying saltwater flies, and Cray comes back a little bit and ties another bump. And the way to do this is just kind of layer the thread over itself until you get a little bump, kind of build it up with a pyramid sort of deal. Cray comes back and does this, and then he puts the eyes in the middle so they kind of sit in a little valley, I guess you'd say. To start eyes, once you get a bump, or you don't have to do a bump, I kind of like something to push up again. Once you get that done, then you would take your thread and go over the eyes, hold them on the side, go over the eyes 3 or 4 times in one direction, and then turn them up like you want them on top of the shank, and then come back and go 3 or 4 turns in the other direction. And you see what this will do is it'll set the eyes up square on top of the hook at a perpendicular angle if you do it right. And then what I do is I usually come back over 3 times around the shank of the hook, and then I'll come back in the other direction 3 times, and I'll do that a couple of times. And once I get some built up, then I go around underneath the barbell eyes, and this just tightens the eyes. See, I'm going under the eye and over the hook shank. So I'm putting this thread between the barbell eye and the hook shank. And once I've done 4 or 5 wraps there, then I'll do a figure 8. And a figure 8 looks like this. I come over and then halfway around and over and halfway around. So I'm going both directions over the hook. Under the hook and over the eyes. And then I can do the same thing again. And notice I'm not stopping to pull this up real tight. I don't have to pull it real tight. What's going to happen is this thread's going to build up, and it's going to force the eyes and the shank of the hook apart. So here we go. And you know you're done when you can do the eyes like this and they don't feel like they wiggle. So those are attached well on this particular hook. And they do the same basic thing with bead chain eyes. Bead chain eyes are loose on the chain. You can see like this, I can pull it back and forth. So when you cut them apart and stick them on the shank, they'll move around more, and you have to take enough wraps to take up all that slack. But generally, I put them on exactly the same way. Now, if you want this to be really sturdy, when you get to this point, if you're concerned about durability, you want to turn this over and take either your head cement or some super glue, something like that, and put a couple of drops on the bottom. I generally use something like UV resin, something like that. That also works. Just anything to penetrate the wraps. So that's the way you put barbell eyes on a hook.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe for all our videos and tight lines.